Sure. Hi, my name's TouchpadWarrior. You can actually, you know what? Let me do my whole intro. Howdy, folks. Good morning, afternoon, evening, tea time, whatever the fuck time it is in your part of the world. Welcome back to the podcast. Because normally I say stream. My name's TouchpadWarrior, aka Ginger Snap, J-Dog, whatever the fuck you'd like to call me. How we all doing? I play a warrior in World of Warcraft. I have for 16 years on a touchpad keyboard. So this cooked, terrible, weather damaged thing that you could definitely tell where my hands are. I like to drink and I like to collect mounts. I think I'm approaching US 100. Sorry,
wow.
I'm below US 100 for collection because I'm at 826 mounts on my total account. And then my goal is to get to World 100. So I'm like 60 shy of that.
Wow, that's
dang, we'll get there.
Have you been like hard collecting since you started playing WoW?
I've always had a passion in collecting them. The first rare mount I ever got was the Ravenlord mount. Burning Crusade.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
So like we had a druid that had his flight path or flight form quest. Went in there and would farm it every single day.
Wow.
Because it was heroic, so I had a daily reset. Was it daily or 3-day? Either way, we did it on reset, and that was the first like taste of a rare mount that I ever got. I was like, man, this is kind of cool.
That's
kind of neat.
Good.
Yeah. And then so I kept going for that, and I only started heavily focusing on them because I had quite a few like midway through Battle for Azeroth. I was at like 500 something. I was like, okay, I have a decent collection. And I was like, you know what? This expansion's kind of dead. I'm just going to go around. Like I went through the list of like what I didn't have collected. I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to spend my time doing that. That's way more fun.
Just get all
I'm just going to focus on exactly what I'm doing. And then I climbed, I think, 100 mounts in a year. I just like
That's
went
mental.
balls to the wall. Yeah. Well, it's like 4 hours a night, 6 nights a week.
Okay.
And so I'd flick on my stream and I'm just like, all right, we're going to go tackle these things today. That's the goal. We'll see. And that's what made it more fun. And even though I would spend 4 or 5 hours a week just farming for the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent. And so there'd be a whole stream on Tuesday of just me sitting at that boss and would constantly kill it on a 15 to 20 minute spawn timer. And surprisingly, that was my new peak of viewership. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. My colleagues being like, the fuck are you doing? I was like, what? He was like, how are you maintaining like this many people watching your ass kill the same thing over and over for a 1 in 2,500 drop chance? I was like, I don't know. I think they're just there to hang out with me. I think I just need somebody to talk to.
That's it. People like the journey, man. People actually like to see you get there as well. So like, if you eventually do it, they'll be like, I watched them do this, you know?
And I did eventually get it. The only problem was I got it off stream. And I was in a call with a button. Yeah, and because like I would clean the house because like, you know, I didn't want to dedicate like the whole 4 or 5 hours of stream to just that. I kind of got tired after it, after like the 9th month. I think it took me 9 months to get it. And so I'd just clean the house while waiting for Shadow Spawn. So I'd have my volume on max and I'd be like cleaning the chinchilla cage or cleaning the fish tanks and wiping the floor. Like, you know, adult shit.
Your place must have been immaculate.
Yeah, it was great.
That's good.
It's efficiency, right? You always have something going on. And I was talking to a bud and he was having a really, really tough day. And so I was sitting there talking to him like, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. You know, just trying to be good at ear to lend. And then I made his ears bleed because I screamed so loud when I got the mount. I was like, I got it. I was like, you know what? I'm happy for you. All right? That's good. Happy for you, buddy.
Someone through a tough time and you're just like, oh, the mount spawned.
Yeah. Sorry, Raging Bearded Scott. Love you, buddy.
That's good. So how about we take it back a little bit because I quite like knowing like people's like origin stories. So like how you got into gaming, what games you started, you know, playing as like a little Justice, like little young Justice. What do you start playing, and you know, how do you come about?
First game I ever played was Pokemon Blue because that's how old we are.
I
had a
have
Game
a
Boy Color.
Pokemon Blue.
You didn't get a choice. So. yeah, do you? Hell yeah. That's
so
awesome.
definitely my time.
So at the time, like Game Boys were flying off the shelves. It was like you couldn't really get a hold of one. Whatever color for Game Boy color you got, that's it. I had a violet Game Boy. I think I was like about six or 8 years old. And I played Pokemon, and so that was the first franchise I fell in love with. You know, common thing for young millennials was to collect all the Pokemon cards. You watch the TV show. It was like a huge fandom, and it still is. Like what, 25 years later, whatever the hell.
Yeah, it was the 25th anniversary. That's right. Yeah, just passed.
Yeah, and then I got into Nintendo stuff. So I had an N64. That my sister would never let me play games with her. She was shitty at it. How dare Sorry, she doesn't watch this shit anyways.
Is this
Anyways,
older sister?
Yeah. Older sister, yeah.
Older
She's 4 years older
okay.
than me. And then so I got a GameCube. I love saying these things because it really dates us so badly. I still even have my GameCube down here. So I played a lot of Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, Double Dash. And then that was it. I pretty much just played anything that was on the GameCube. And then somebody was like, "Hey, you should try World of Warcraft." I was like, fuck, that's for nerds. And I was playing lacrosse. I was like starting to become like a really like frat boy kind of guy. And I hated that about myself. But also, in my defense, lacrosse is probably one of the most lame sports you possibly could play in California. Like I'm not even kidding. In a high school, we didn't even know where practice was each day, even though we had like 4 fields. Like the soccer team, the football team, they'd give tennis a grass field over us. And so like would pray that somewhere down the line, our coach actually connected with us to know where the hell we were practicing at some random local park. They never announced any wins or losses. Like the Daily News. Nothing.
It's funny because I think of lacrosse as like whenever you used to watch these American TV shows as a kid, it was always like the jocks would either play lacrosse or they'd either play American football. There's no other sport they play. So you just get related to like these guys playing lacrosse are just like these douchebag like jocks essentially. So
terrible. I mean, not so much. You can't really be too much of a douchebag jock when you're 13 and overweight.
True.
So like, it wasn't that bad. But I found out like it was the only sport I ever got tied to. My grandfather on my mother's side actually played lacrosse in Canada, so he played indoor lacrosse. And then, from what I was told, it's one of the old Native American war like games that would be played, but it was played with severed heads.
Lovely. I think that's the same as like football or like soccer. I think that's like the first way it came about was like apparently like the Chinese used to play it with severed heads between 2 posts. I was like, that's
man. That's lovely. There it is. If you ever want to make the new hit sport, it has to be played with a severed head first.
That's got to go through like a beta test of just dead.
How do we test this?
Yeah.
Severed head.
Does
it throw?
Does it throw? Yeah.
So yeah, then I broke my arm and I was kind of bedridden and just like house ridden and whatnot. I was like, I guess I'll play WoW. And so I've just played WoW for 16 damn years. My whole life is World of Warcraft. I have a Frostmourne on the wall replica. I have a Gorehowl on the side. My fiance made a Horde banner. Like
I was actually admiring that. That is actually so cool. Actually, the little torch lights at the side neat. Are like next level.
I found those at Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found those at Spirit Halloween. I a little culture.
That's cool, man.
I was like, that'll work.
I was taking notes here just for like, this is how we're gonna make the backdrop look a little bit better.
Honestly, it was such the door's right there, so it covers the door. Perfect.
That's cool, man.
You just got to work with what you got. So yeah, I guess that's my backstory.
And that's it to WoW. Yeah, I mean, because again, I know like a decent amount of WoW. Like I've had quite a lot of gamer mates that have played it. I've not really spent too much time on it. Mine was when I was younger. My parents would never really let me pay a subscription for a game. They thought that was insane.
Right.
So when I was younger, it was Guild Wars, because Guild Wars you paid once and then you could play as much as you want.
Right.
So
still pretty popular too.
It was good.
I think they just had a new expansion launch too.
So like the second one, I haven't actually touched. I think I played a little bit of it, and then all my friends gave up on it when I came back to it. But I was devastated because the first one, like you were saying there, when you collected mounts and things, I loved that about World of Warcraft. I thought that was so cool, and I was like, Guild Wars, they'll come out with some mounts, that'll happen, and it just never did.
They'll have it.
It just never did. I was like, man,
I think they do now.
Yeah, I think maybe the second one does actually. Yeah, but it's just the time you've got to invest in any MMO, compared to a lot of other games. I feel like, this will eat my soul. I know I've got an addictive personality, so if I start, I'm doomed.
It does, but the good thing is, it may not be red now. I'm a redhead, so I'm soulless, so it couldn't eat my soul if I don't have it, right?
Nah, that's good.
I'm safe. That's why I'm not even kidding. I have a Kia Soul, so that way I can make those jokes. So I had to buy my soul. So like, I have a whole skit with that. Not even kidding, but I'm not. But I dead ass have a Kia Soul card, so I can say I have a soul.
You bought your soul. That's good. I like that.
I had to buy a soul, dude. It sucks. Everybody gets bored with them. I didn't. I had to go buy mine. Then needs an oil change every once in a while.
So basically, just like you've now like, so you've gone from like playing like Pokemon Blue. You're now like the Pokemon master of like WoW mounts now, right? It's just basically
yeah,
like a Pokedex.
I guess kind of.
Just,
Huh?
like,
I never really
collecting
related
those.
those two.
Hey, go man.
Shit, I've been cooked since the beginning.
That's it.
It's just always collecting.
Pokemon Blue's just it. Just taking over.
Oh man,
So-
I've never analyzed that. That's terrible. Shit, I'm gonna have to sit with that one the whole damn day.
So do you play competitively when you play WoW, or is it more just like PvE for fun, or do you still do PvP?
I did hardcore raiding for about 4 years. So I did Burning Crusade and Wrath, and then like when he got to the Lich King, guild kind of died, and that's when I decided. At that time, I was graduating high school, so I was like, well, I probably should get a life. So like I stopped because I was raiding, 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week with an elective raid for another 5 hours on like a Saturday. So I was constantly raiding, and then I was raid leading. I was like co-GMing. I was doing all this stuff. Like I loved it. Organization, everything, and like being tactical and coming up with strategy, having meetings. That conditioned me into a lot of who I am today. So a lot of people would regret like wasting their high school years on it. I spent my high school years around people that were way ahead of me, maturity-wise and like mentally. So like I was coordinating at the age of like 15 with people that were getting degrees in college, and they actually respected my time and they were teaching me how to do certain things.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
the entire time of high school, I was like, it was kind of like how you guys have apprenticeships, right?
Yep.
After like high school, yeah. So I was being an apprenticeship for organization and strategy and time management and leadership skills. All those things were actually conditioned into me because I was with people that were 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Organizing that stuff, and I was very grateful that they gave me their time to teach me that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and when I went to culinary school at 18 with barely a beard, I was able to instruct and lead teams that were 10 years older than me because of my leadership style.
Yeah, just the practice you'd had.
And the fact, exactly. They're like, how the hell did you do this? And I didn't want to tell them I was a nerd. So I was like, I don't know. It must have been a manager in my past life. Haha, nervous laughter, walk away.
Yeah,
but it helped out a lot in my whole career choice and everything like that. So
yeah, I think it totally depends on like the game and like who you're playing with. Because I think when I'm younger, the gaming was more definitely just I'm just not productive. Just
fuck around,
just having fun with friends. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But when I started playing things like probably StarCraft's a good example because it was so strategy based, and honestly, it would frazzle my mind just trying to come up with these new ideas on how to beat another opponent 1v1. And I think more than like a lot of the games now, when they're like team play based games, it was very much 1v1. So if you lost, you couldn't blame anybody else. It was very much like, I'm shit. That's why I lost that game. That was quite good. But I suppose like
I'll let you know,
like,
I failed the StarCraft 2 tutorial. I failed that. Not even kidding. I had no idea what I was doing. And apparently I was supposed to gather X amount of resources, and they kept spending my resources to gather resources faster. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I've been here for an hour. There's no way this tutorial.
There's just no resources. That's good.
I was like, wow, I am stupid as hell. And that's when I complete StarCraft. I was like, all right, never mind. Not my game.
So the guild you're with now, are they quite like a competitive guild? Or are they more chill now?
So a little complicated in that regard. To short answer the question of competitive stuff, I do PvP and I do light PvE stuff. I've been to 2100, which is duelist in the game. The next rating would be 2400 for gladiator.
Okay.
I've never been gladiator. I would love to. It has a really cool mount tied to it. Of course, I'd love to. But also just to like prove to myself that I can play to somewhat a competitive level on a touchpad keyboard. And so that's why every single one of my streams shows like I have a touchpad cam as well as my face cam, so people actually see in real time what I'm doing. So for rating, I did hardcore rating for 4 years, and then I did like casual rating for about 6. And then I decided to actually leave my guild, even though I was the guild master of it and whatnot. Because honestly, streaming or broadcasting raid content, unless you're doing the top tier stuff, is not entertaining. So I was having to raid lead and organize the guild while trying to entertain. It didn't work out. So I made the call 2 years ago. I quit raiding and then pursued doing streaming stuff, which worked out well, but obviously still sat kind of ill with me because I kind of abandoned my friends to pursue this. But mentally, it helped me out a lot. And then also for productivity for what I do today, helped out a lot too. The guild I currently run is called the Justice League because Justice actually is my middle name. That's why it's my character name and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, you misspelled Justice. I'm like, fuck you. I can't misspell middle name. And then it's kind of funny, Justice League and things like that, right? I just now, it's a super casual guild. It's just come and go as you please. Who the fuck cares? It's a temporary home. If you want to make friends, sweet. There's no organization or complication, no guild drama. You can pop in, be there, and like if you decide to go pursue another guild, go for it.
Yeah,
and
fair
if
enough.
that falls, come on back. You're more than welcome. Open arms, because I feel like a lot of guilds are very click-based and niche, and it's like, I don't give a shit. Come and go as you please. If you want to make some friends, go for it. If you want to be casual, go for it. Whatever. I feel like there's no stress behind that. I just now started to raid with that old guild that I abandoned.
Oh, have you? Okay.
years ago. Yeah, but I'm still in my own guild, and that's about it.
So are you, when you were saying it's slightly easier to like now stream doing what you're doing, like the mount collecting and maybe a bit more or less competitive rather, is it because the fact that your mind's not, you're not focused so much on the strategy based of the game, or is it just because, yeah, it's a different thing?
In my opinion, for when it comes to broadcasting content, because it's not that it became easier, it's because it became easier to do what I want to do, which is entertain. So while I was raiding, I couldn't do that because I had to be focused on strategy.
Yep.
I still love that aspect of the game. It's still what I crave a lot. But for broadcasting purposes, I wanted to be more of the entertaining and make somebody laugh kind of guy, not the super sweaty and like hardcore. I'm always the best, always the best. Fuck that, man. Everybody has different skill levels. Like, I feel like it's able to attract a wider range of players. I have people that pop into my chat that are gladiators, multi-time gladiators, and people that have like cutting edge. And then also the guy that just installed the game. Right?
Yeah, you get
because there's always something that we can connect to, and that's just that you love World of Warcraft. And so I want to have that atmosphere for my space for what I provide on a stream. Instead of like, I am the best, fuck you. Fuck that mentality. That's terrible. Nobody should ever think they're above anybody else. I don't care what your followers are, how many viewers you got, whatever the fuck it is. I'm a fucking person, you're a fucking person.
Yeah.
That's all it should be. And I feel like people just don't treat each other that way anymore, and it's terrible.
Nah, there's definitely a lot
my
of
gaming
people
space was like that.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even, I mean, just for an example of two different like games I've played, so like even like League of Legends, for example, like even when I'm playing that semi-competitively, I can't, like, I'm trash at, by the way, not like I'm top tier League player by any means, but
I mean, shit, people would say I'm trash at WoW, you're fine.
It's like you're playing these games for years, still trash, but yeah, I can see the decline, like you pass 30 and just go, like your skill level just dives, but yeah, like I feel like it takes so much of my multitasking to like chat to somebody, focus on the game, and like it is totally underrated. I think doing all those things at once, and then I'll play a game like
it's a lot of spinning plates.
Yeah, it is. And if you, I don't know, you play something like I don't know, like Fall Guys, for example, like it's a great game, but yeah, you could just turn your brain off completely. Like you don't have to think about it, and the fact that you can just casually chat to people that comment the stream is like, yeah,
and I think that's better. I've listened to a lot of people that do professionally stream, and every single one of them said that. It's like, unless you're able to broadcast like the absolute top tier of content, then you shouldn't stream that content.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to see you wipe on the same encounter for 4 hours. They're like, all right, well, that's a night, folks.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really provide a good, fun atmosphere to be in, and the whole point is to be entertained when you pop into a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And so when I analyzed that about myself, that's when I made that call, and I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do what I want and go rogue for a little bit. And honestly, it worked out better for me.
Fair, yeah,
so
totally.
I'm happy I made that call.
Yeah, I think unless you're like top tier at whatever you're doing, it's just not going to work out that way.
Yeah.
But so what do you think on like thoughts of like say like the current state of like World of Warcraft? Like how's the game like sitting just now, and how would you maybe like change stuff?
Current state? Terrible. Really? It hasn't been doing well. This expansion hasn't been fantastic. I make sure I'm very vocal and transparent about my own opinions on my streams. It's just a matter of if I actually want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So like I'll see things happen. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. This is reset time. I'm just here to relax.
Yeah.
Like, you can hit me up afterwards about it. Totally fine. In my personal opinion, I think the expansion kind of let a lot of people down. The end cinematic just happened, and I can't find a single person on any media that had something positive to say about it.
Really?
And that's sad. Because even in some cinematics for the game, it's like, okay, but like, let's analyze it with this view or this lens. Nothing.
Yeah.
That should say something, you know? That's a lot of different people having the same opinion that I was like kind of a letdown. So that's rough. Like, Blizzard already had a whole bunch of shit happen, and the game didn't meet expectations of what we wanted. A lot of people are kind of analyzing this current expansion as like, all right, it's kind of like WoD. We got to cut our losses, wipe the slate clean, and do better in the next one.
Yeah.
So that's currently how it feels.
So it does feel like they're taking the responsibility on the chin a little bit, or are they actually just, yeah, have they actually taken ownership?
It's hard to tell.
Worse, you know?
In all honesty,
yeah, probably is.
It's I'm gonna keep doing my thing. I still do get enjoyment out of playing the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing it. That's what I tell folks all the time. I'm not gonna sit over here and be like copium all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, you know what? The game is kind of shit right now. That's not too great, but I still have fun playing it.
Yeah.
So I like going and collecting things. And honestly, what draws me more into the game is collection aspect and friends. So if tomorrow all of my friends decided to quit, then over time that would probably make me quit the game. But as how it works right now, I still have plenty of folks to play with.
Yeah, so still
And so like, yeah, as long as they like, and they all have different content they like to do. Some people like to run dungeons, some people like to raid, some people like to PvP, some people like to collect. So I always have something rotating and going on to keep the game somewhat fresh for me, and then also have different people to play with. So that's why I'm still invested in the game and playing it, because I still get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a core philosophy of a game should be.
Also, one of the guys I used to stay with, he was a diehard player. I can't remember the guild he used to play for, but they were relatively competitive, and he used to always make a joke that every second expansion was like good. He'd like there'd be one that was bad, then one that was good, and I'd be like, "Oh, this one must be the bad one," you know. And he would still play.
Looking at my expansion boxes, like, hold on,
he's just sitting there,
yeah. Trash. Oh man, I don't know. I think we're on decline.
And the decline that was it. He used to always say, and I'd go like, "Well, this is the second one, so you should miss this one, right? Because it's going to be bad." And he's like, "Oh no, I'll still play." Like, you know, it's like it doesn't matter how trash it is. I'm still going to buy it. Essentially, you know, you're hooked for life.
Yeah, and you should only ever say things are bad and actually be able to give productive criticism towards it. So in that regard, it's that it felt like when you had professionals playing in certain fields, like let's say it's PvP content, saying and proving that like, hey, this looks wrong, and then the community backing that up, and then many voices voicing their opinion, and then showing proof of why it could be better or how it could be better, and then it just gets neglected.
Yeah, it's just left.
Yeah, and then like a week into it launching, as like going live after PTR testing, they decide to nerf it then, or like change it then. It's like, but you want to listen to your community, and then you don't listen to your community, and then you do it too late. So that disconnect is what sucks.
Yep.
Because people playing the game right now are passionate about it, and we only want World of Warcraft to be good, which is why people dedicate their time and hours and minds to trying to figure out, hey, this system can be better.
Yeah.
I think this might work. Can we get at least communication going on this topic? And then just to be left on red sucks, and it hurts. And then there's only so many times you can keep doing that before you just give up.
So what about...
And so it felt like...
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, Blizzard in general, obviously, I mean, I know the company's had, like, a list of things going on in the past recently, but, like, thoughts on them? Because, again, they keep mentioning, and I'm sure there's maybe even less staff than there was previously working on some of these games, but, like, they keep talking about how, like, almost every BlizzCon, we're going to start listening to the community more. And I know they've obviously done the opposite with that for the games like... StarCraft and HOTS are really, like, Heroes of the Storm are probably the only two that I've really committed time to playing, and they were heavily on the decline. So how is that for WoW? Do they still actually take into the, like, account what people are saying, players?
No, that's exactly the example I'm giving right now.
Yeah.
It's right. So,
just that. Yeah.
It's just there's only so many times where you even want to bother putting in testing for it, and then putting in your own scope for it to make the game better, until you're just like, whatever, and you're just like, you don't invest your time into it. Much like with like friendships and things, if somebody's just constantly leaving you on the shit end of the stick, you're probably not going to hang out with that bud anymore. There's no point, right? So that seems like how it's working. I do have hopes, because in the past couple months, they did start reflecting and like actually replying to stuff.
Okay.
So I think they're in the works of it. I think it's just the foundation needs to be readjusted.
Yeah, okay.
So I have some hopes. I think they can pull themselves out of this. But those kinds of things only heal in time. That's not just... next day, all right, we're replying to every single tweet possible.
Yeah.
You can't make that happen, right? Because there's going to be Andy over here that puts out a tweet at Blizzard CS being like, hey, this polygon on the giraffe over here in this coordinates of the game, that should be to the right. That's probably not the highest priority, right? Let's focus on game mechanics and how this ability does way too much inflated damage into this scenario. That sounds like something we might want to fix instead of a polygon on the graph.
Yep.
So I think it's just fixing the foundation, and then time will actually heal that, and they have to show their efforts in showing they actually are listening to the community and making adjustments. So we've started to see some quicker returns as of lately, but it's just going to take a lot more of that consistently to water that plant to make sure it actually grows.
Yeah. So about other MMOs, I mean, again, a lot of my mates who have gone into WoW, they're just like MMO mads. It's not even just like WoW. Like though, it's WoW seems to be like I would say like the core that they'll keep coming back to no matter what.
It's the starter one.
It's the addiction they can't beat.
It's the home.
Basically it is. And they'll play things like is it like New World, like all these new MMOs that'll come out. They'll try
New
them
World,
and then
Lost Ark, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, exactly. They'll play for a few months and
Guild
then
Wars.
they'll
I think
just
Guild Wars technically MMO too, right?
Yeah,
Guild Wars
yeah.
too. Yeah.
And then they'll just come back. That was actually one of the things with Guild Wars 2. I think when I played it for like a month or two. And then when I think I went away for 2 weeks on holiday, came back and all my friends had stopped. So I was like, well, I'm not going to play if none of my friends are, essentially. But
right. It makes it hard. And that's the core, right? Mm-hmm. So if most people are playing WoW, like you try out this other MMO and everybody stops, just like, I don't want to play anymore. This sucks.
It was like such a simple thing that they hated as well. It was like you couldn't custom choose your skills. It was like in Guild Wars 1, you could choose any skill essentially as long as it was your class. You could mix up. Whereas in the second one, you had like a very strict skill tree. So like you and like the other warrior next to you would almost have identical spells. So it came down to like when you fought, it was who was smashing your buttons faster. Right. It was a little less skill based. It felt no
strategy.
It felt like you couldn't outplay by being smarter. That's what it felt like. And
that sucks.
Yeah, a little bit. So what, is there any other MMOs that you like to play at all?
Yeah, so I did try out New World when it came out, and I did have hopes for it because the game looked beautiful. I liked the design behind like, here's your weapon, and then you could choose your skills off of that.
Yeah, that was cool.
The thing that ultimately kind of cooked it for me was, as a content creator, you try to pick out your servers in advance, and like, hey, this is where we're going to land, this is where we're going to play, right? It seems like no damn MMORPG that's being made looks at social media traffic and tries to estimate how many servers they actually need because they want the servers to be full, right? So that way it's a lively community. Just make a buttload of them, man. Just make a buttload, let people pick a server, and like that's it. And then once the hype dies off, then you can merge them afterwards. But for the love of God, just make 100 servers. Just let somebody go somewhere. That's fine. Because then what made it messed up was we picked a server, and we picked a server that wasn't that was newer, like just made, right? So it wasn't like the big streamer server. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. There's no big organization there.
Yeah,
cool. Everybody can log in and play. It didn't matter. The hype was too intense, and then that server had like an 8-hour queue.
Oh, it still had the queues. So okay, yeah,
yeah. And so I was like, well, even if I like plan in advance for the day, be able to log in. When people pop into stream, they can't just log in and play. And so that made it a tough dynamic. And then people like wanted to get into the game. It's like, well, I play on this server. It's like, okay, so I can only play with you on that server. That's an 8-hour queue. I'm going to go over here. And so it ended up just constantly dividing the space and making it not fun. Where the whole idea of playing the game is to have fun. My fiance even started playing it. I bought it for her. And we're playing the game together. And it wouldn't even start you guys in the same starting zone. And the only way to fix that was to constantly remake your character.
Yeah.
And so that hopefully you land on the same spot. I spent 30 minutes traveling just to go play with her. And then it routed my quests actually back at my home location. So we could work on the same quest, but she could turn it in here, and I had to go all the way back to turn it in.
That's
I was like, this is rough. Like, we only got like 2 hours to play.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And
actually.
so to have to deal with that,
a complete different city sometimes, weren't you, when you started? Like,
yeah.
So like,
it was to help battle like with mob density and like people not like constantly killing your stuff, and it made sense. But like in practice and like experience, it sucked. So like,
yeah, it's hard to find.
You spend 30 minutes customizing your character, just have to delete it again
and recreate.
So you can try to land in the right. I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I can only be burned so many times. And I still watch the game played on stream or on Twitch and whatnot. I watch other people play it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. I want to be able to log in and play with my friends. Like,
well, that's it. That's the fundamental thing that I think you need to remember when you're probably creating any multiplayer online game, but MMOs especially. I think you probably do get those diehard sweaty people that can just play themselves in PvP, but I mean, I don't know any of my mates that will play MMOs themselves. Like, they all have servers or Discord servers full of people.
I like community stuff.
People go online because their friends are online, you know?
Yeah, I played Lost Ark too, and I actually really like a Lost Ark. You feel heroic. Your abilities feel powerful. It's like they took every advertisement from a shitty mobile game and then actually implemented it into a good game. That's how I describe it to people. It was like, you know that guy with the giant blazing sword that's like whirling around, looks really cool, and you feel powerful? Yeah, no, this is actually a good system in a good game that you can still look like that way.
Yeah.
And so I was playing that for a little bit, But and we did actually have people to play with. People actually did route to a server, and it worked out. The queue times, they managed it very well. In my opinion, they managed like that boost in popularity very, very, very well. So it worked out. But then like the new WoW patch was happening. I was like, well, fuck.
I've gone back to that.
Gotta go do that. So like, I'll probably tackle it again in the future because I actually do like Lost Ark. It's pretty fun. It's pretty entertaining. There's a lot of systems. A lot of people will say it's like pay to win too. Like there's pay to like help boost your character up faster and do this and do that.
Yeah, it's like free play.
That's just gonna happen. Yeah.
And then
It's free to play. So with that though, there has to be some kind of currency system in the game. Yeah. Otherwise, would you rather have that in your game, or while you're in the middle of a boss fight, it pauses and you get a 30-second ad?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like, so they have to get paid somehow. These companies don't produce these games just and sacrifice their own income
these
so that you can enjoy your time.
A lot of money.
Yeah. The fuck? Like, people forget that aspect. Like, hey, I'm supposed to play for fun. Money involved. I'm like, it's a free-to-play game.
You can't complain. Yeah, as soon as
there has to be. You have to have some things there. If you want to ride a unicorn, then buy it.
Yeah.
And you can ride your unicorn.
Perfect example, yeah.
And guess what? When you buy that unicorn, you're helping pay a developer's salary. So that they can keep producing and working on the game that you like and enjoy playing. It's kind of how that works. It's like walking into a coffee shop and expecting it to be free. It's like, I thought you just made these because you love me. That's not how the world works, buddy. Like, so... But I really like Lost Ark as an MMO.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's I must admit, I played it for a bit, but I'm not really a massive fan. I think I have to be one of the few people that actually like those dungeon style games like Diablo. I don't really like that point of view. And honestly, if I say that to anybody, yeah, exactly. That's like, no way, it's like the best. I'm like, just not really my type of game. Don't know why. It's like if I ever used to play those kind of games again, it'd be like the StarCraft customs when you had a hero and you do the same thing. You'd be like up above, and I just never really enjoyed them. I don't know what it was. I must just have that part of my brain missing, man. But everyone's like, how can you not like it? It's free.
Point of view.
Yeah. It's weird, man. I don't know.
You want everything to be your life. You're the front and center. You're the character.
I don't even mind like WoW and stuff's fine. It's just that when you're up above and it's like it's like Diablo. I'm not such a big fan of that. I don't know why. Just I'm a weirdo.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Final Fantasy. Just because I don't like the art style too much. That's it. And everybody's like, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm like, that's fine. I actually watch some people play it.
Yeah.
But I know that I just personally don't like the art style. That's it.
Well, see, that's the thing. I
guarantee it has good mechanics. The raid setting's awesome. Like, I look at the systems and I analyze that. And I'm like, hey, that's really cool. But I just know that me personally, I can't get too invested into it. And it's because of the art style. And everybody has, view art art is in the eye of the beholder, and like whatever style you want. Some things just aren't going to appeal to certain people. Maybe somebody doesn't like the design of that sword. They hate it. That's fine. I like it. Can we be cool with that? Can I enjoy it and you not enjoy it? And we just
as I say, there's actually definitely that thing in the game community where like just because I don't like it, it's trash. That's the very much.
I got harassed pretty often by a few folks. Like, how dare you like not play Final Fantasy? I'm like, I just don't like the art style. I still respect people that play it, and I respect people that develop it and everything. And the idea and philosophy of the game, I think it's grand. That's it.
Yeah, it's like
two opinions. It's my time, and it's a video game. So if I want to sit there and enjoy myself, I'm gonna look at something I want to look at.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I feel like that's fair, right? With my own time.
I feel like even streaming sometimes you'll get some people, why you still play this game? It's trash. Again, a lot when I'm playing HOTS,
every day. I'm playing WoW for 16 years. Of course, I get told that.
It's like, oh yeah, it's a dead game. It's trash, and it's like, can someone not just enjoy a game that you don't like without you going?
I don't know where that philosophy got lost.
It's weird.
Like, how dare you be an adult and choose and find what you like to enjoy doing?
Yeah,
not allowed.
No,
not allowed.
So what about like games that aren't MMOs? Do you play anything else? Like your drinking streams, are you normally just playing WoW, or do you play other stuff?
Yeah, I just play WoW. I wanted to try to tackle Lost Ark. I just now became a full-time streamer last week.
Oh wow, congrats, boss.
Thank you. Fuck, it's been 6 years in the making. So it took a long time to get there, but I'm happy. Just before 30, that was the goal.
So what's the, if you don't mind saying, what was the 9 to 5 that you just were like?
It was a coffee shop.
Oh, nice, man. So you're just like...
So I literally made my name tag Tavern NPC. So people would come in, and the huge nerds would come in. And especially like people you would never expect to be nerdy. And probably you get this quite often too, with being more of a fitness guy, right? So we had like the personal trainers from the gym nearby come in. This guy's towering. He's 6'8", right? Super fit, super muscular, carries himself well. And he was like, dude, I love your name tag. Oh my God, I'm in 6 D&D campaigns right now. I was like... Rock on, dude! Hell yeah!
That is cool, man. I don't know. It's just this. There's like a stigma that you just have to be a nerd, man. I mean, even at school when I was younger, I would never tell folk I was a gamer. Like,
yeah, you couldn't do it before.
I couldn't say it before, and then as I left school, I was just like, I don't give a shit. Like, I really just don't care anymore. So, yeah. Like,
my dad grew up being with that scenario too, because he's literally a boomer. He was born in 1953, so he literally was a baby boomer. Yeah. And he worked for Atari, and he played video games. And
he worked for Atari. That is so cool, man. That's ace.
Right. But like at the time, like you're like nerd, and like he actually did deal with like the swirlies and being picked on and like all that shit. And so he's seeing me as like, motherfucker, and like I wish I grew up in your time.
Oh yeah. Well, it's weird. I think I still would have gotten picked on at school if I just outright had said like I play these games. Again, probably certain games more than others. Like if you'd said like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, these were nerdier games.
Yeah, it was totally okay to play Pokemon. That was fine.
That's okay.
Common. It was okay. Play Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. Totally okay things to say.
Yeah.
If you said that you played World of Warcraft, it was like, oh, you're branded. Get the
super nerd. Yeah, and then there was like the next level that was like if you played D&D, that was like another stage of nerdiness. You know? That was like the pinnacle.
And I just started playing D&D like last year with my fiance. So it's like
so good.
Now I'm there for that one too.
Yeah, my brother's like really into D&D, but I quite like it, but I have a hard time letting go and putting on like character voices and stuff. So maybe a couple of beers sort of helps me like get into my character a bit more, So
sometimes that helps me too.
That's good.
I've been the most jovial or charismatic if I'm like, all right, you know what? It's Sunday. I don't like to drink before even 9:00 p.m. People find that outrageous. I have like very strict drinking times. They're like, oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm like, nope, that's the mentality that makes an alcoholic.
That's the worst. Yeah.
And so even if I start my stream at 5 and I explain these to people, it's like, it's 5 o'clock for you. You should drink. I'm like, that means I'm drinking for 8 hours. That means the majority of the day that I was awake was spent drunk. That's not the goal. With me here. It's gonna be wild. We're sober for 4 hours of this broadcast. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It was like, okay, there was one D&D game that I had, and I was like, fuck it. Okay, it's Sunday. I'm literally going nowhere. I'm not leaving the house. House is clean. We're good to go. Fuck it, I'll have a cocktail. And I was like so jovial and charismatic. I'm like, damn it, I hate that this is me, and that's the requirement for this. It just turns off that filter of like over analyzing scenarios, and you're like, I'm gonna go give this child a knife. That's what I did. In that campaign, it was like my dwarf paladin went around and saw kids that were getting bullied. It's like, here you go, here's a knife in case he fucks with you again.
Yeah, it's like I feel like you end up just just pissing off like the other people you're playing with. You're like, I steal this guy's hat. It's like, why? I just steal this guy's hat, and it's I just stop it. Like, whatever. Just play the game.
He's hatless now.
Yeah,
his name's Hatless Joe. Everybody knows him. We'll laugh at him now.
Yeah, but it's even like I've done one drinking stream. I can't remember what we played. Oh yeah, it was Pummel Party. You ever played that before? It's like
yeah. I've seen it.
And it was funny, but I can't remember the rules. It was like if you every single time you came below a certain position, you had to drink. And then every time someone subbed, I would take a shot. And it got to the point where like I think 2 people came in and just donated like a fair amount of subs, and I was just like, it got to the point where I had to come off stream because like I was so drunk, and like I'm the kind of person where the more drunk I get, I just get verbal diarrhea, and I just do not stop speaking, and eventually focus, just like I take a breath,
Yeah. So I will let you know, for your own safety and for anybody out there, as somebody that's been streaming and drinking, it is definitely against TOS to do anything correlating with drinking and subscriptions or donations, etc.
That's why I was drinking.
Do shots per subs. Do not do.
That's why I was drinking that's why I was drinking water out of my cup. So we're good.
So you're just a liar.
Just a liar. Just get drunk off water.
How dare you? I'm drunk off water. I'm so hydrated right now. You have no idea. Hydro homies, where you at?
Absolutely. So what about streamers you watch? Do you actually mostly watch WoW streamers, or do you have quite a variety of streamers?
No, I actually, I always find it more entertaining to watch somebody in a different realm. So doing stuff. So one of my good friends is his name's Luxos. The guy's a fucking champion. He's a sweetheart. And he did initially play World of Warcraft, but as time has gone on, he's like, you know what? I want to do variety stuff. And so I literally watch him play whatever the fuck he wants to play. Currently it's Lost Ark. So most of them actually, I guess, that I watched were bigger WoW streamers, and then they just wanted to tackle something else. So like Bajira plays Lost Ark now. Gosh, who else? And I also like to watch all the homies and support them. So like I could literally pop up on my Twitch list right now, and there'd be like 40 people that I'm following. And people harass me. They're like, why are you following so many people on Twitch? I'm like, sorry for supporting. How dare you? Like, I got variety and people to look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do. Like, so obviously Asmongold's there, Disguised Toast, Soda Poppin', Zaryu Salutes.
Yeah, Asmongold seems to pop up. It's like whenever like a new WoW expansion or something comes out,
anything.
Like he just seems to be like the 100K mark, and you're like, wow.
Yep,
that's
one of
next
the biggest
level.
content creators for that atmosphere for sure. And he plays a lot of New World and Lost Ark right now, and like with everybody else, pretty disappointed in how the game's turned out.
I mean, New World was annoying because like I played a good bit, but it was when I think it got broken because a lot of people were able to like dupe gold and dupe items, so it kind of broke the game a little bit.
Yeah,
I think they
I heard about that. I was like, ooh. It's like,
it's such a hard thing to fix because you can't just kick all the people that have bought these items, and then it just upsets the balance of the value of the gold. Does it really? It's like I don't know. It's a really tough one to deal with, and the game's sort of ruined. Well, to a certain extent, you know. So
yeah, that's one of those things like we talked about earlier. It's like time will heal that one. So it's gonna suck for a wee bit, but time will heal it.
It's definitely something I think I could go back to play. The whole like conquering territories and stuff I thought was a nice little niche that they put onto it. Like you have a clan, you stick with them, and you have to take over these things. It was quite cool.
And supposedly as time goes on, like that's supposed to be a very small section of their map.
Yeah, I like
people
that.
Have, they traveled and like they're like, wait, there's bigger areas, and there's supposed to be like potential of like having mounts and stuff in that game instead of just running everywhere.
Well, yeah, that was it. I remember in the menu it had like mounts, but it was grayed out or something like that, wasn't it? So that'd be quite cool.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of that game. It's just if you have rocky starts, it's just gonna take time for it to heal up and get good again.
I'll just wait until
because you already made an impression on folks.
Yeah,
right. So it already made an impression on a lot of folks, and if they have people starting to say good things about it again, then good to go.
I mean, if folk were waiting 10 hours to play it, you made some kind of impression on their brain, surely.
Yep.
I'll wait until I see a flashy video on Twitter of some guy like with a cool dragon mount. I'm like, oh, time to start playing again. And then
shit. All right, you got me. That's it.
Well played.
Easy way to anybody's heart: riding a dragon or killing a dragon. That's the two things you want. Yep. Oh man.
So outside of like games, streaming and stuff, and making coffees, what do you do from day to day?
That was pretty much it. So I would work. Originally, I was a chef. I have a culinary degree.
Oh yeah, so you said.
Yeah, and then so I worked at the Playboy Mansion as an event chef for about 4 years. That was pretty cool.
Really, that's age.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people get hooked on. They're like, "Hey, that's kind of neat. Did you see titties?" I'm like, "What the fuck do you think?" Of course, I'm like, I'm literally working there. But I worked there not to be like the demographic that enjoyed that kind of atmosphere for those parties, more so to have something reputable resume. So that's the whole point of doing it. I was like, I worked and cooked for Hugh Hefner, like in his mansion.
Yeah.
That should be something good on your resume when you're 19, right?
Oh, definitely.
I think that's pretty damn impressive.
Whether he's a Playboy Mansion god or like, he's still a guy with a lot of money who can pick a talented chef, so that should still stand out.
Right.
Right.
And so like I worked there with other chefs. Like we didn't have prep cooks. It was all chefs. Like we all had culinary degrees. So had that on a resume, and then I still got declined constantly for applying even to like small bakeries or bigger establishments. It didn't matter that like I was some kind of like prodigy at 19 in culinary arts. And I had that on my resume. I was like, what the fuck? Supply and demand shift for cooks or chefs in California is very saturated.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it was really hard to try to find a good job. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go be a barista. And so I ended up being a barista for 5 years. So before going full time, my schedule looked like wake up at 9, had work from 9:30 to 6 p.m.
Okay.
So very long shift. And it was a shift lead there. So I was just, operating stuff and whatnot, making lattes. And then I'd get home around 7-ish, have enough time to check out all the pets, check on my pops, check on my fiance, make dinner, and then I would start prep for stream at 8:30 p.m. So I'd only have an hour and a half to like take a shower, eat, check on everything in the house, and I would stream from 9 to 1 a.m. Then go to bed do stream breakdown. That would be 1:30 or 2, and then wake up 7 hours later. So that was my entire cycle for years. So there wasn't really time to do anything or enjoy myself outside of
doing that.
Those two jobs.
I mean, it's not. I totally feel it there because I'm still 9 to 5. I'll come back, I'll stream, and then I'll try and fit the gym in there sometimes as well. So it's like trying to do all those things.
That's the next champion mission out of me. It's like, okay, well, I have a certification in nutrition. I'm like, I'm going to practice this shit again. Started doing a little bit more fitness. I literally have liquefied oats in my fridge over here to help combat like being hungry and whatnot. I'm a chef. I can make anything tasty, even if it's healthy for me.
I was going to say, if you're like a proper culinary chef, and you're saying your nutrition as well, like that's, I mean, you've got the makings of everything that you need to just be super healthy.
And I have Scottish genes, so even better. Like I have calves that are built there. Like Scottish calves are good, dude. Those muscles are pure.
I would say the Scottish genetics. Actually, I did actually see yesterday. I was completely unaware that the strongest man in the world is now a Scottish guy. I didn't realize, and some guy was showing me on Instagram, and it's hilarious just to listen to. Like he's from like up north, so it's like quite a heavy.
That Nordic blood, man. If you got it, like you can be a bodybuilding champion for sure. And I that's the heaviest part of my body. I have these giant tree trunk calves that are just pure muscle.
That's weird you say that. It's the same. Like it's one of my strongongest points, but I don't know if that's just a Scottish thing or if that's just.
I swear to God, it is. I've been told by everybody it's a Scottish trait. You got thick calves. Like I can't like bench press more than like 120 pounds, even though I'm 240. But I could like do one of those calf press machines for 1,000 pounds. I don't get it. It's wild and inappropriate. I don't like if I have to kick somebody, I'm good. If I have to throw a punch, I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, it's weird. Because like if you're taking on a new PT client, they're definitely not. I'd say build me massive calves. It's like probably the least desirable body part. Yeah. Dude, ever like.
But if you ever try to grow it, it's one of the hardest muscles.
Yeah, it's like one of the hardest ones to grow.
Yeah. So like, hey, I got that foundation to
it's a good
well
start
done as well. So we're good. Yeah. Got the calves.
So you can actually cook like proper good healthy meals if you need to that you enjoy. Yeah.
I felt terrible being as overweight as I was. So I made a champion mission out of myself. I quit drinking cold turkey. I quit eating fast food, and I would literally cook a different plate of roasted vegetables every night, and I would eat a half sheet pan of just roasted vegetables. And that was my dinner. And then I would go to the gym at like 2 a.m. and run. And so I lost 50 pounds in 6 months.
Good for you, dude. That's heavy going.
Right? Yeah. So like I was like, I feel shitty like knowing all this stuff and not practicing it. But then people like ask me about like some kind of recommendation on what to do, and then I didn't practice what I was preaching. So I went ahead and did that. Now, here's the problematic thing. I didn't expect this to happen. Apparently, the reason I was able to do that was because I was in one of the darkest parts of my life, and I was able to channel that negative energy into something good.
Using it as fuel.
And I found out I didn't care about eating when I was sad. I like to eat when I'm happy, which is completely polar opposite from most folks.
Definitely.
Usually they'll eat a lot. Yeah. Right. When they're sad, they'll eat, and that's what helps make it up for it. I wouldn't eat because that was my desire, that was my passion, and that's what I did when I was happy. So when my life started to turn around, I gained all that weight back real quick. Started eating good again and started enjoying food. I was like, fuck, damn it. I need to be depressed again.
Well, I mean, as I say, the mental state is probably probably more important there. But like
oh yeah, of course,
the way you did it as well. Like I mean, I think it's either one or two ways. I always try and advocate like making small changes so subtle that you almost don't notice that you're making those changes. So like, for example, you were saying that you'd have like a whole tray of like veg, whereas I'm like, like some people will go, I don't want just rice, veg, and chicken every day. So I'm like, okay, well let's just try like just eating less. Keep your horrible diet. We'll just eat less food and
caloric intake.
Yeah, you just
a lot of people forget that like it's a lot of it's dietary things.
Yeah,
and I always try to remind people like, hey, don't say the word diet or don't say that you can't eat that. Say that you shouldn't. If you start changing your mental state of being like, well, I should have this instead of having this, you're educating yourself and conditioning yourself as a positive choice is being made instead of a negative one.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, no, I can't eat pizza, I'm on a diet, say, I probably should eat a salad. That's better for me. So then you're subconsciously like actually conditioning yourself into making smarter choices, and then you're rewarding yourself mentally because you're like, I made the good call today. And you start like changing that mental aspect of it, and you end up being better at practicing what you're actually trying to do.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And I would just like try and say things like literally just instead of driving here, walk, and then maybe eventually you'd swap out like full fat Coke for like Diet Coke, like just small changes to try and slowly take it down. And then it's almost like you just go, it just sort of happened. They just started eating better, and it just because if a majority of people, if they do what you did, they just can't last. It's just not sustainable.
No.
They'll do it for a week and they go, oh, I can't eat this healthy salad every day.
No, I was in a very dark time of my life, so I was able to do it.
Hey, I mean, like people man, I mean, as we say, like one of the biggest catalysts you see is like when people, for example, they'll go through like a breakup is probably a good example, because they're like, that's it, I want to get super fit just to throw it in the other person's face or whatever, and then they just go into this place of like,
spite is the best fuel.
Yeah, they just get so motivated, and you're like, man, I haven't seen someone go like this for months. This is crazy, but it can be a good tool. It's just you probably don't want to do that for too long because your brain will turn into a vegetable. So yeah, not a good one.
You'll become what you eat. Yeah.
Exactly. So what about like fitness wise now? Do you do anything like in your routine, like daily, or is it just you're trying to do the full-time stuff first? Yeah,
that curve is going to be happening in probably next week. So I still practice like playing lacrosse with my dog, so that keeps me
that's cool.
energized and exercise, and I'm still like there with the stick and having fun. So I'll start off with probably just doing light walks with him, and I'll do like light fitness, push-ups, sit-ups, etc. Just the very, very light stuff, while my body's getting used to adjusting to this atmosphere. So I was used to standing for 9 hours a day. I'm obviously not doing that now. So I've been furiously cleaning my household. I would break a sweat while cleaning the house. Double productivity. I'm good to go. So very light right now on anything like that. I'm focusing more on dietitian kind of stuff. So just trying to be healthy, work on nutrition first, get that down. Like I said, liquefied oats are in my fridge instead of having like a pizza later.
That's good. Yeah.
Trying to make just smarter, conscious decisions and get that foundation done first and then go into it.
Yeah. No, it's a good place
especially
to start.
when it comes in the gaming. If I'm going to be streaming for 8 hours a day, it's a lot easier to order a pizza.
I'm going to check now.
It's just there.
In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to message. I'm going to be like, look, Justice.
How you doing?
What have you done? You said you were going to start.
So that's why I prep that.
Yeah.
Right? So I prep liquefied oats. Exactly. It's like, okay, there's my meal, because you end up being lazy and you want to be there on the camera faster and you don't want to have to worry about cooking. It's like, cool.
Oh, totally.
Mise en place, chef.
Yeah.
Everything in its place. Do your
chef.
prep.
Yeah, chef.
Do your fucking prep.
I was so bad for that though. Like gaming, I used to snack a lot. Like it would be like a family bag of like Doritos or like things like this. Just a lot of stuff.
Whole
so
bag easy.
just boom, boom, boom. And again, it'd be games like that, like MMOs, where like I'm not constantly like this. If I have like little rest times, I'm like, oh, it's time for me to just grab stuff, eat stuff.
There's a Cheeto. Yeah.
Whereas like if the game, if a game's totally taking my attention, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't eat for 6 hours. That's a
weird, huh?
Yeah. It's a totally opposite end. Gaming should mess you up, man.
Fuck, I forgot to eat. Damn it. Again. Shit. Why does my stomach hurt?
There was always that myth. I didn't know if it was true or not, but I used to always hear when like World of Warcraft was probably in its peak. It was like I think it was some media outlet reported that like it was like 3 or 4 Japanese people would die a year from playing World of Warcraft, and I didn't know if it was true or not. I never actually thought about it.
There are some true reports of somebody like actually like just neglecting their body entirely.
It's fucking insane, man.
So involved in the game. Yeah.
Just gotta get those mounts, man. Just gotta get those mounts. Fuck.
Shit, that was even before like mount collecting was even a thing.
Yeah.
That's even more rough. No, that was just trying to farm out for it's called rank 14. So that was being like the High Warlord or Grand Marshal PvP status. So you had to like constantly grind to have that title.
I remember my mates one of my friends used to try and be the like server first to get certain mounts when they got released. I remember he used to race for that. He'd be like, I want to be the first person that gets this mount on the server, and he just wouldn't sleep. He'd be like, or he would take it in shifts with somebody else, and he would always get beat. He would never be first. And I used to be like, who the fuck is more dedicated than somebody who's not sleeping, then shifts with somebody else? He's on constantly for ages, and I'm like, someone's beat you, and I'm like, I'd be devastated after like not sleeping properly for a week.
That's part of the grind. It's about drive. It's about power.
The motivation. Yeah. Totally. Oh, totally, man. So yeah, like I feel like I've probably spoke about COVID quite a lot, but I'm generally quite curious for like, since we're talking about health and stuff as well, but what's California like just now? Are you, are people like, COVID's disappear? People aren't really abiding by any rules, masks. What's the scoop?
We're just approaching the phase of, it's recommended you wear one, but we're ultimately leaving that choice up to you.
Right, okay.
We're just getting into that phase right now.
Right.
So it was still mandatory masks, indoor facilities, as long as like if you weren't eating or actively drinking, wear a mask. And especially as somebody that was working in food and beverage industry, I respected the hell out of a lot more folks that just at least wore one.
Yeah.
Just for the 2 seconds at the till, that's it. Because for some reason they decided, hey, let's get rid of the dividers.
Oh,
it would make way more sense in my mind, and I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, to have the divider there, and then you could have your mask off.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of like, hey, I hope you wear a mask. So it's like, especially since I live with my father and he's turning 69, nice, and has cancer. Like the last thing I wanted to do was like bring home COVID to my dad, like that's cooked. So
yeah, I mean,
we're approaching a better phase right now. People are happy to see some smiles again for sure.
That's good. No, like I think I'm a very similar boat for my dad. He's high risk as well, so it was like you couldn't really take the risks. I think like England are very bad for like, well, I say very bad. They've just decided to all masks off. You know, we'll just see what happens here. Whereas Scotland still like if I go out to a bar, I've still got to wear a mask when I go up to the bar. But when I'm sitting at the table, I can take it off, like things like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And also, like, I just kind of hated the people that would argue. It's like, I don't want to wear one. It's like, homie, I'm wearing one right now, and I got a big beard. Like, you can wear it for 2 seconds. Yeah. Just out of respect for anybody around you. That's what it's about. That's why I wear one.
It did seem like
wars or fires.
No, exactly. There was so many like COVID debates when you were like drunk, and again, it's everyone becomes a doctor when they're drunk and they're talking about COVID. You know,
I know. Yeah.
It's dangerous when you hear the words Facebook article getting chucked around when you're talking about COVID.
It's like, oh, yo, no, not the best debate. Please stop. Please, let's just go back to drinking our beers. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. But I mean, getting the lockdown was good. I think we were here. Was it like 3? I think I was for about. We were off work. A lot of people for like 6 months, so it was like full paid furlough.
Really fucked up. I never experienced lockdown.
It's weird, right?
They never closed the coffee shop because technically,
you never got to
food. No.
Oh man,
I never experienced lockdown. It was so bizarre. I saw the entire thing like unveil the peak of it and everything like from a worker's point of view. In food and beverage.
Were you guys quite quiet, or?
Huh?
Were you guys quite quiet, or were you guys?
Yeah. Like, nobody was coming in. I was like, you guys know we're losing money here, right? They were trying to bleed out the company for anything it possibly could make as money and profit. Terrible. And like, serving beverage, you would technically be closed for operations as lockdown. It's because we served frozen fucking breakfast sandwiches and pastries.
Counts as food. Oh, that's disastrous.
So they're like, oh, we're staying open. Don't you worry. You'll keep your job. I was like, I would get paid more if I was
just sitting
not working right now.
Yeah.
This seems royally fucked up. So I felt so mistreated in that whole atmosphere.
Dude, I feel your pain, man. It's
terrible.
I was when we first got, I think it was like the first 2 months, I was really like, all of my friends were like, who aren't like gamers, they were like, this is so weird, like I'm sitting at home by myself, I can't socialize, and I was just like, I get to play games all day, every day. I've been training for this like, my entire life, man. This is so good.
I was kind of hoping that I was going to go on lockdown. I was like, wait, I could practice full-time streaming. I can do it. This is the time. And like my shop never closed. I was like, motherfucker.
I'd have to like check myself though, because honestly, sometimes it would be like I've been in all day. And when it got to like 3-4 months, I was like, I need to go outside, man. I need to do more things. It took over a little bit. You chat to folk on Discord, and that'd be the only way you could be social. It was kind of weird, you know. So, but yeah. Anyway, what I'm wrong with do if you're up for it is towards the end, I just do like quick fire questions. So like in my stream,
go for it.
I tell people that I'm when I'm streaming. Sorry, I tell people that I'm coming on with you, and they'll just give us questions. So. Yeah, you can answer them quick, slow, doesn't matter, because normally when I say quick fire questions, sometimes they answer them really quick. I'm like, you don't have to answer them fast, it's fine.
Where's the timer? Shit.
Okay, first one is what TV shows are you watching just now?
Unfortunately, not really anything, because I've been dedicating a lot of time to working. Yeah, I hate it so much, but people ask me like, hey, are you watching this? I'm like, no, I haven't seen a popular movie in like 6 years.
Really?
I literally spend so much time working. I'm a workaholic for sure, to a negative point. I'm trying to work out of it.
Dedicated to the grind. What about like favorite shows you have watched then? Like maybe ones in the past?
Oh, fuck. Doctor Who, South Park, Rick and Morty.
Oh,
I love cartoon and dark humor shit. Like, that's right up my alley. I grew up with South Park when it initially launched in 1999. So,
amazing.
Yeah, I was 7 years old. Probably a reason for a lot of my cooked brain. But
I don't know about you. At school, it was like if you watched South Park. When again, I think I was about like 9 or 10 when it was out here, and you were considered cool. Like, was it elementary school?
Your parents are real cool. They let you watch that.
Yeah, you'd be cool if you got to watch it. Whereas
my grandmother was pissed.
Just raging.
Watch this. She was born in 1920, so she was like, they said, damn.
Oh man, yeah.
That's a pattern.
I think They're still going with episodes, are they not? They're like on season
Yeah,
25 or something,
going.
man. Yeah. I haven't watched for a while, but like even episodes like Make Love Not Warcraft, man, still got to be one of the top tier.
Best ones.
It's just so good, so good.
So yeah, a lot of stuff like that.
What was that?
A lot of stuff like that.
Cool.
In that general genre.
Yeah. Most embarrassing stream moment.
Man, you know what? Not too bad. As I'm kind of looking at my history, I guarantee you some of my viewers would say otherwise. But like, no, that was the one. That was the one. I'd say any stream where like I had just one too many shots, and like you can't speak correctly, and I'm like, I'm just an embarrassment. Like this is just kind of sad to watch. Like you can't even like correlate a thought.
But then if no one clips it and you can't remember it, so it didn't happen.
Bingo. There's the thing. I never drink that much that I forget things. I think I've blacked out once my entire life, and that was when I was like 22.
Yeah,
I feel like it's pretty fair for like 10 years or so.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like
bad.
Here,
yeah,
it's like a thing. Your birthday from like 18 to probably 30, like it's just a reason to go out.
Better be fucked.
Yeah, like your 18th, your 21st, maybe your 25th, your 30th. Like you're not supposed to remember things. That's like the way that's just stupid Scottish culture. It's awful. It's so
no, my father always made me the proper drinking things. Like always make sure you eat before, make sure you have water before, drink a Gatorade after you decide drinking. Like so many philosophies go into drinking, and the one that I added into that was never drink alone.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
The most important one, because like mental sake, if you're in a drink will always amplify your mood. If you're having a down day and you have a cocktail and you're by yourself, guess what? Dark time.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're in a good mood and you're drinking around good people and you're elevated, you're gonna have a good time. So it's like never drink alone.
Yeah,
that's one of the most important
with lockdown. Again, a lot of there'd be a lot of these online quizzes people would do over Discord and things like that. So I would join those, and it was a couple of times I'd get quite boozy, like just a few of us, like maybe like 10 people on a call, and then when you just come off. You just like come off and you're sitting in your room. You're like, I'm just sitting here drunk by myself. Like, it was just, it was so bizarre.
Real sad, real quick.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I got 10 friends. It's great. And then just come off and you're like,
shit,
I'm all by myself. I've just got to go to bed. Great.
Right. And so like the same thing when I'm streaming. I'm like, I don't know if anybody else is a fellow drinker. I know quite a few here, but I'll drink with you tonight. Like, and then once I end stream, I'm like, oh shit, I'm just tipsy.
Yeah. It's like the end of a party, end of the night, just like teleporting everybody out and just going, oh, guess I'm just here. Yeah, great. I'll just keep drinking. Like, no.
It's like, whoops, that's sad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Made a mistake here somewhere.
Okay, next one is if you could be pro at any video game, what would it be?
Oh shit, World of Warcraft. I could be a pro PvP player in World of Warcraft. I'd be so happy.
Yeah, you'd be top tier with that?
Be so happy.
Boom.
Yeah, I'd be totally okay with that shit. Yeah.
I'm assuming they're still like top tier because obviously like some of the games, I mean like even like StarCraft, like the top tier players can obviously still make a living, and I'm assuming it's still the same. Like
I don't think it's so much of a living unless you end up broadcasting it too.
Like streaming it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
but like, as long as you have like the good charismatic character to make that happen, and then also you still do those events. Like those events don't pay enough, even if you win, to like give your salary for the whole year. You have to sign into a team and get paid. It's a whole process. Yeah. So I'd like to be god tier at WoW PvP. That'd be kind of solid, especially on a touchpad keyboard. Are you kidding me? I'd be turning heads left and right.
Do you feel like the touchpad has ever held you back at any point?
No. Which is really bizarre because I mean I've been playing this way for 16 years. I have like 33,000 hours played in the game. So
same keyboard the whole time.
A touchpad keyboard, not the exact same keyboard, but a touchpad keyboard.
As I say, it was looking pretty worn down. Yeah. That's a 16-year keyboard. You know, you need a sponsorship.
That'd be impressive. No, I'd like to. No good company makes a good touchpad keyboard. It's so sad. They always make them offset to the right instead of making them how a laptop is. Because that's how I first played the game.
Oh yeah, because that's where the mouse would be, right? So it's offset.
Right. And so like the first time I was able to play the game, it couldn't get past the third disc for installation on the house computer. And then my mom went into Realty, and so she got a laptop. I was like, oh shit, that's a new computer. I could probably download it there. And none of my friends in middle school knew that you could plug a mouse into a laptop. I didn't. My parents didn't. Wow. So I thought I just had to play with that touchpad keyboard.
She just learned.
I was like, hey, I can play the game, but I don't have a mouse. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Anyways, let's go do this dungeon. I was like, you got it. And I'm like trying to operate with a tiny little fucking trackpad.
That's crazy. Is any game you'll play just with touchpad, or is it just WoW?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep. I was even playing Lost Ark with it. Yeah,
that's
with
mad.
click to move and attack and stuff. Yeah, no, I adapt pretty damn well. As long as I have cursor sensitivity that I can control in a game, I can play with the touchpad.
Man, that'd be feared to play with any game and just be like, yeah, just absolutely trashed you with the touchpad keyboard. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
How many people I've beat in Arena, if they found out to play with a touchpad keyboard, I think I'd probably break a few keyboards myself.
I'm just using my right hand and just a touchpad here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's like shit. I could probably start to adapt to like just using my thumb for the touchpad, and then I start using my keybinds to make that shit work. It's like, hi guys, how's it going? I'm just gonna drink with this hand and then like play casually.
Used to be that the impressive StarCraft streamer. I'm sure he used to play with one arm, and
yeah,
he was like, I don't know if he was Grandmaster or he was Masters, and again, I think the highest I ever got was Plat or Diamond, and it was just insane to see someone that, you know, just destroys my APM, and he's got one hand. He's got half the capability with his limbs, and he's able to destroy me. You know, doesn't need
you adapt, honestly.
Oh man,
because I did try to get a mouse at one point in Wrath of the Lich King. I got like one of the WoW Cataclysm mouses, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the problem was I'm right-handed, but I operate my touchpad with my left hand. So this is for keybinds and this is for cursor mobility.
And your touchpad's in the middle.
So I play like this, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
And so I'm doing like funky shit like this. I actually use my pinky and my thumb pretty often too. It's weird. Right. I'll show you, but I'm actually currently using the touchpad up here because like the quality. So I did try to get it, but the mouse was fitted for right hand. So it had a slight slope to it. And so I was trying to play with my left hand that was sloped like this. And all the thumb keybinds and stuff would be my pinky. And then between like raiding for 25 hours a week and then school for 40 hours a week, I didn't have the time outside of raiding to learn how to use a mouse.
Oh, that's so weird.
So I said, fuck it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Whatever. I'm just gonna play this way. I'm over this crap. That's why I kept doing it.
That's weird. I think it's a couple of times I've used, like I went to DreamHack a while back, and I remember I didn't want to take my computer to DreamHack, so I used the excuse that I needed a good laptop for college or like for university, so my parents like went halves on me to get like a good one. And I just needed it for gaming, and then I took the laptop over, but I remember forgetting my mouse, so I had to play StarCraft with like the touchpad and the keys, but obviously like I wasn't competing, it was just for fun. But honestly, Jesus, I just remember being like, no, I've got 4 days to learn how to use this and actually like play properly. And I'm not even joking, man, my win rate must have been like, you know, negative 90%. It was so bad.
Some people have told me, they're like, man, I'm on a business trip right now, I'm playing with a touchpad, I don't know how the fuck you do this. I'm just gonna go farm mounts. It's way easier.
I'm just gonna go farm mounts.
And then I get called out by some of my mates too. They'd be like, oh yeah, you can play WoW with whatever. It doesn't matter if you just farm mounts. You don't have to be skillful at it. You can play with a touchpad. I'm like,
and you take that for granted though. Like, you just learn how to use a mouse.
Then I go to Arena and they see how many like actions per minute I have going on and what I'm analyzing on the screen, and then I could beat them. And they're like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, stop bullying yourself. I've been playing this game for 16 years.
Yeah,
like,
just all I know.
It's not. Like, ignore that this is here. Just understand that I beat your ass.
That's amazing. That's quality. Okay, what's the next one? What's the most overpowered thing in World of Warcraft right
now? It's a team composition called RMP. It's Rogue Mage Priest. It's a whole. You can die. Yep, you can die in literally like 2 seconds through every defensive, every global. Like, does not matter. It's been a problem in the game for like 10 years. There's some seasons where it's like been a little weaker, but it's just the classes sync up together perfectly. And then they also added a new trinket in the game that makes it so that it have like what's called a go. So like in PvP, like, okay, you set up CCs, here's our go. That's when you pop your cooldowns, you go for heavy burst damage and finalize a kill. So that made it so their go was every 2 minutes. Now it's every minute.
Oh, okay.
In arena combat. And so you have like videos and clips of like these top tier gladiators that have been like rank 1 9 times in a row
just
that are dying in a second.
I thought like, I mean, I know StarCraft are quite bad sometimes at patching things, but I thought, wow, for things that were broken, we're quite good at swapping things out, like mechanics.
Back in the day, for sure.
But now they're just,
I don't know, man. This arena season for this expansion, like the arena for this whole expansion has been 3 seasons. We're on season 3. It's just been a nightmare, like burn fest. It's just like you'll have games last less than 20 seconds.
I feel like whenever I do podcasts with folk that have played Blizzard games like their life, like even I've done quite a lot of StarCraft players, and even like people talking about when Warcraft the remake was coming out, like people getting so hyped and they're just like, it was just so shit. I think it just sounds like, it feels like I'm absolutely hating on Blizzard, which I'm definitely not, because I love their games they've made for me. Like, it's my whole childhood.
I do too. I'm still playing it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still playing
it. But like, it'd be weird to not have like constructive criticism and try to like say something like, well, I feel this way about the game, and I think like this thing needs to change.
I feel like
now, whether or not it's implemented, or I'm also not a game developer, I have no idea.
Yeah,
right?
Same. Yeah,
but I can at least express my feeling. I'm like, this feels kind of lame.
Yeah,
I'd like it if that didn't deal this much damage.
2 million damage.
Maybe the next time.
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing gamers do quite bad is they go, "Who made this? This is utter trash," when they have no idea how games are made.
Yeah,
or just like that's just
or they'll say
shit
shit like, "Oh, whoever made this design as a developer needs to get fired." It's like, okay, hold on, you're literally threatening somebody's job. Like, was it a bad call? Apparently, but like they didn't know that. They obviously didn't try to design it for failure on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just total like
they weren't like, now I'm here to make your life nightmarish. Like that wasn't the goal. They wanted to make the game fun for you.
Yeah,
shit.
But someone's getting sacked there.
Terrible.
Okay, last question. What is the worst video game that you've ever played?
Oh man.
It's hard
to say because there's such a small list. No, because like I think StarCraft's a good game. I think I'm just shit at it.
Oh no, I was saying WoW, because you know how like folk will go like I fucking hate this game, but then they continue to play it because they secretly love it. That's yeah. It's like that's I think I say that all the time.
So few games that it's hard to like say something on that list. I don't know, any mobile game. There you go. Does that answer it?
Any mobile game. No, that's good.
Any mobile game.
Yeah, I think I'm up there with all these big games companies trying to appeal to the Chinese market and just make everything into a mobile game.
And everybody, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like we used to have Game Boys, right? We grew up with that. So it was like, have something handheld.
Yeah.
This thing can run a lot of crazy good graphics nowadays, for sure. So it'd be kind of stupid to not have some game on a phone.
I mean, WoW Classic can't be too far off it, surely.
You'd think, right? There's a lot of keybuys though.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt.
Yeah, it can't be too hard to have a touchpad add-on to your phone. That'd be easier, right?
All right. Hey. I mean, it is. The whole damn screen's a touchpad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true,
actually, yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, so like normally I like to finish off just by saying something that's like maybe a little bit beneficial for someone that's wanting to try and do streaming or something similar in the gaming space. Like what advice would you give somebody that's trying to do something similar, or maybe some of the experience you've learned from trying to do what you're doing?
Sure. I typically go very vague with this question because everybody has their own different footing, what they're trying to tackle, what they're trying to achieve. And personally, like some of my close buds that are trying to achieve that, I actually have a sit down with them and I talk to them about like things that I think could work for them or what they want, because it's your space. That's what you're creating. So my goals are going to be way different than what your goals are. That's kind of how it works. My best advice possible is to stop looking at numbers. That's not your primary objective when you're first starting up. Stop looking at numbers. A lot of people stress about that shit way too much. You can worry about that later when you have time and footing to do so. Because obviously that does matter to its traction, right? It'd be kind of silly to completely ignore analytics. But focus on yourself and what you're producing. Because you can't control if somebody's going to find your stuff. You're not going to go shove it down people's throats. You're not going to go stand at a mall and like hand people like a flyer or business card that says like, hey, I do podcasts, I do this, I do that, I stream on Twitch. Like, doesn't matter. No, you're not going to go do that. You don't know where your shit's going to land up. You can produce the content, though. That's what you can't control. That's something in your being. That's what you can control. So make your content better.
Yeah.
Tune up some things. Make things more entertaining. What can you do when somebody like hosts or reads the channel? What can you do? I made a goddamn spider that drops down that says thank you for the host when somebody hosts and rates the channel. His name is Greg. Amazing. He has an emote and everything now. Like
that is amazing.
Right. So that was free. This is do you remember Pick and Save? It's now called Big Lots.
I'm not
sure. This is a 32-year-old fucking paper mache spider from a Halloween decoration. And I hot glued a piece of glow-in-the-dark string and I made a sign backwards that was mirrored so that way it could be readable on camera.
You're buying a lot of stuff from Halloween stores, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. That's the best shit. The best shit. But that literally cost me nothing. Right?
That's cool.
That cost me nothing to do. But it made it something that was interactive, that was kind of fun for the stream and increased the quality of it. That's something I can control. And then if people like that, then people tell other people about that. And like, hey, this guy has a spider that drops down when you host and rate him. It's kind of funny. His name's Greg. Greg the host spider. Like, I can control that for sure. Right? So when you're analyzing your own content, go back in your VODs and be like, you know what? Maybe I should change my pitch or tone a little bit. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should change the camera angle. do that trial and error. That's the most fun phase, the discovery phase of what you can or can't do, or should or shouldn't do. That's the most fun. And that's what you can control every day. Have consistent times, work on your content, what you're producing, and people will find you.
That's good. I feel like your first point especially, like that a lot of folk will concentrate on, like I quite like watching like smaller streamers, again, they're playing similar games sometimes, and you'll even hear some of them, like, I mean, I'm saying that like I'm a big streamer, I'm definitely not, but like what I'm saying is like when you see other people that are the same as me when you're streaming, and they'll have like 2 or 3 people watching, and you'll actually talk about how it's only a couple of people watching, and it's like one of the best things. I think it was Tim the Tapman, when he started streaming, he said one of the things he did is because before you could hide your viewer count, he used to put a little bit of tape over his viewer count, and he would just essentially perform to the best, like
that's exactly
entertain no matter how many people were there, and just focus on.
You shouldn't have like something that activates your go button on being charismatic based on a number being there.
Yeah,
you should be 100% on at all times. If you flick on that go stream button, like go live, you better make sure that you're putting your A game on what you want to do that day, not based on how many people are watching. That's shitty.
Yeah,
that's shitty for your own branding, your own product, and people watching. Like, why are you only like your best when there's Greg, Tom, and Bob there, opposed to just Tom? Tom wants the same quality content. He wants to see you go instead of being like, this is fucking stupid, I hate this. That's terrible. Now you lost Tom. Now your new peak is Bob and and Jim. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So
yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. Be consistent. Don't worry about numbers. Focus on yourself, because that's what you can control.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's a good place to end. So yeah, Justice, why do you want to just tell people where they can find you and stuff as well? I'll obviously link it into the YouTube videos and stuff as well, but just where they can all find you.
Of course, twitch.tv/TouchpadWarrior. I'm a partnered streamer. Hey, neat. That's kind of cool. I got a check mark. That's why the hair's purple. Smile the feet out.
Oh, was that what it was? That was the purple.
Yeah,
was the
I promised that I would color my beard purple and dye my hair purple. It's because you can't dye beard hairs, otherwise it kills the hair follicle and you have to shave it off.
Is that true?
So I just did yeah. My fiance is a cosmetologist, so luckily enough she told me. Otherwise I would have cooked that shit. I would have fried my own beard, my branding, and cooked.
Amazing.
Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all TouchpadWarrior. That's it. Or if you swing by the Twitch channel sometime, literally everything's there, nice easy commands, but every social media has different content. That's what I try to focus on.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like and subscribe. It really helps me and channel out a lot. And it also keeps you up to date with all the new guests too. Cheers. See you.